there, you're watching Y Factor on Doordarshan, the program which talks about the voice of billions of young India, their contribution in nation building, and most importantly, what do they actually think when it comes to the issues, whether national or international, which matters the most. But today's episode of Y Factor is extremely special. It's going to be very close to the hearts of young Indians. Why? Because in this episode, we have with us on Doordarshan these DRDO young scientists who have been handpicked by DRDO to basically represent their respective laboratories in 5 different metros. Remember, this is the concept which was mooted by Prime Minister way back in 2014. We are talking about DRDO's young scientist laboratories that have been established across these 5 metro cities to basically promote focused, advanced research in futuristic technologies. And remember, when we say this, just recently Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated all these facilities to the entire nation. And on this show of Y Factor, we're going to talk about why is it seen as a big way forward, big leap forward when it comes to empowering young India in decision-making processes, and also their contribution in cutting-edge technologies, making nation future-ready when it comes to defense technologies and much more. And I'm extremely honored to introduce this young panel on the show. We have with us Ramakrishnan. He is representing Hyderabad facility of the DRDO laboratory. Thank you so much, Ramakrishnan. We're also with us on the show Sunny Manchanda, who's going to be representing Bangalore lab. Sunny, thank you so much for joining us. Also, Manish Pratap Singh coming in from Chennai here. And on my left, I also have Shiv Prasad, who comes in from Kolkata, and also Santu Sardar, director, coming from Mumbai. Remember, they're all director-level scientists. They represent their respective laboratories, DRDO Young Scientist Laboratories. And let me begin with you. 5 areas have already been identified, Jinme research hoga. And when it comes to Hyderabad, you guys are going to work on smart material. Before we talk about artificial intelligence, smart material, very loaded scientific processes, but then what was the basic vision? What was the basic vision to have something like this? And if I'm not wrong, this is for the first time this move has been made by any nation, wherein you have director-level scientists under the age of 30 to 35 working on something as fabulous as this. Please.
Yeah, so to start with, way back in, as you introduced, so around 2014 itself, Prime Minister has given the concept of having the entire authority with less than 35 age people. So this attempt was happening in small scale. To be frank, it's like in each laboratory has their own young teams. They are working on various kind of problems and in local level. But now it has made it in more formal sense. These 5 laboratories are created. And the point was like to give some kind of independence or authority and how to see how we take forward. So we hope we'll be doing something good. So that's what we are expecting. So.
Yes, and expecting with that broad smile. I think that adds something to this massive positivity, Sunny. Very upbeat about what you're really going to do now. You come from Bangalore, and artificial intelligence is what your laboratory is going to take care. What is it about? Tell us more.
Certainly, artificial intelligence is about, as humans, we have been at the pinnacle of intelligence for years now. Our objective is, can machines someday, can this complement us, or can they someday, be as good as humans are? We have thought, we have reason, we have enthusiasm, we have curiosity, and we have a bunch of emotions, right? And the machines are way off. So we are very excited. The times are very exciting. There have been huge strides in AI recently. And that's why the area as a whole has picked up. I was at NeurIPS last year, and there's a big community around AI. We have a very young and enthusiastic team looking at...
So when it comes to artificial intelligence, this is something most of us identify with. There's so much of buzz about it. Now when we have something like this, I think, are we really in that realm of competition when we look at the international community and what the world, the scientists abroad, your peers are doing? Are we there in the middle of the competition now?
I would say there's some way to go. We would like to get there. AI as a community has been very collaborative. There has been a huge focus on diversity. It has been very inclusive. In fact, we see some of the big AI conferences actually moving to Africa because of like some people are not able to travel to the West. So community as a whole is inclusive. We, in general, in India, we would like our research output to go up, to publish at the best venues. And I would say it would take some gestation period, but I think we would be on track.
And you've already made the beginning. And we've already made the beginning. Let me now come to Manish Pratap Singh. Manish, you come from Chennai.
Yeah.
Cognitive sensor technology is what is your domain and your laboratory's domain. Let's first understand what is it all about.
Actually, cognitive technology is based on cognitive science. So what is cognitive science? Cognitive science is basically interpreting the human mind, how human mind thinks about anything. So cognitive science is basically how human mind thinks. So suppose why we go for cognitive science? If we have any algorithm for any subject, then we should not go for cognitive science. If we have any mathematical formulation for the problem, then we should not go for cognitive science. We can directly implement the algorithm as such in our computer system. But why we are going for cognitive science? Because we don't have any mathematical formulation for that problem. Because suppose if somebody says that how to make tea, you can tell the people that first lit your stove, put your this kettle and pour water and all other things. But if somebody tells you that how to learn cycle, then you cannot tell the people that how we learn the cycle. So that's why, so that's why one new technology, reinforced learning, comes into picture. That if we do in right direction, then we get some reward for that. And if we go in some wrong direction, they will get negative reward for that. So by that if we do something and get positive reward, then we learn that we should do like this only. So online learning type of process should be there.
This is very fascinating. In fact, we'll continue talking about the other two very, very fascinating the technological areas that have also been identified. And Shiv Prasad comes from Kolkata. Asymmetric technology is what your laboratory will be. And what is it? What is asymmetric
basically
technology?
Asymmetric technologies are any small and innovative technologies which are like a low technology should win against a high technology. It's like a low tech versus high tech.
For example?
So something like these low technologies, something like drone swarms.
Okay.
So it's able to do the capability what aircraft is having. So if it is able to detect another aircraft, and then the capability should be on par with any other big aircraft or any other military power. So the idea is low technology should come with the factor of surprise to engage or to neutralize a high military power. So it can be in the high intensity conflicts or low intensity conflicts. I should put it in a different words. Any out of the box unconventional technology falls into this category.
But just for us to understand these 5 technology areas that have been identified for you guys, we already must have done some sort of substantial R&D in these areas, or is it that we are making some sort of a beginning from scratch in these 5 areas?
No, absolutely not. There is a lot of R&D keep happening in last few years in the DRDO. So they have come to a different shape, I should say. See, for example, when it comes to data learning, so data mining, all these techniques are happening in a bits and pieces in the respective domains.
So basically you're building up on that?
Yes, yes. It's like we are trying to convert and take it to next level.
Right, take it to next level and more focused. Santu Sardar coming in from Mumbai, quantum technology. What is quantum technology in layman's language? And you must be really heading your department and young scientists that are now working under you.
Quantum technology is the new technology frontier. So it basically relies on quantum physics. Quantum physics is very different from classical physics because, just for an example, in quantum realm, in the realm of atomic and subatomic particles, their physics is completely different. Just for an example, one subatomic particle can be existing in 2 different states or 2 different places at the same time, which is counterintuitive. Similarly, creating in a specified way, 2 particles can be highly correlated even if they are distant apart. So these properties can be utilized in quantum technology to achieve technological marvels. So they have many verticals like quantum computing. We recently in news there are lots of quantum computer. Google have done a few activities. Quantum communications, quantum sensors. So basically, just to give an idea, quantum computing, those are very important and very powerful.
Okay.
As for example, the classical, our security algorithms.
Okay. Yeah.
So for our classical computer, it will take trillions of years
Okay.
to break it.
Okay.
So that's why you call it them secure. But with a full-fledged quantum computer, it will take seconds or minutes. So that's why it's inevitable. We have to work on quantum computing and we have
So
to
but boiling down to these 5 technological areas, you know, viewers, the question that now comes to our mind, and it's very natural, that are we now really moving forward when it comes to the goal of making India self-reliant in defense technology, to make us more future ready when it comes to defense technology, defense preparedness, especially the way world is looking at India in the last 1 decade, and the way some of our neighbors are behaving? I think you got my question.
We are defense prepared. We are self-reliant in many of the, self-reliant in many of the areas. Obviously, some areas we haven't, like it's kind of we are catching up, but definitely we are. So with respect to these 5 areas, if we restrict as of now, I am from smart materials domain. What we are trying to do is make smart materials or like kind of class of materials which are kind of react to the environment, something like intelligent materials if we go deep into technical. But what we are trying to say is, with respect to a condition, it has to automatically react. What artificial intelligence or quantum, these are like state of the technologies we are trying to make ourselves future ready.
Okay.
So it might not be a situation like right now we are competing with all the others, like it's not like all the technologies we are competing with all the others, but what we are trying to say is we are gearing up there. But with respect to material domain, I can definitely say in many other domains, like in materials there are many classes of materials. We are well class, like we are having our own kind of extraction procedures for steels and titanium. We are already there. Some other things we are catching up, but overall we are getting there.
We are getting there, and that's the inspiring part of it. In fact, Sunny, would you like to add to it one of the inspiring parts? And what was the basic thought behind identifying, or perhaps boiling down to these 5 identified technology areas? Why these 3? Why these 5, which also includes artificial intelligence, on which your laboratories work?
I would say the areas that are identified, they're all state of the art. They're areas that are evolving very rapidly. So especially when you look at defense technology in particular, or even in terms of research output in world in general, you would see that these areas are some of the hottest areas which are making immense progress. Especially like smart materials or AI or cognitive science. Quantum has been a promising thing for few years now. And the big thing is that all these areas have got big challenges, right? We are nowhere near where we want to, even as a humanity. Like, of course, we have nation goals and we have got lab goals, but even humanity per se, right? They would benefit from all these areas in general. And these are like, once we achieve at any of them, this would be like the pinnacle of human achievement, and it would take many years of complementary research, and it would be an interdependence effort. We can't achieve it alone. No country can do it, and that's why I say, you know, that it's a world of interdependence. These days, research is very transparent. It's very easy, especially in the domain of computer science, like especially in the area of AI, where you get at least 100 papers in a week. There are things like archive, and people publish openly.
Okay.
So the world, I think, is getting more transparent.
Okay, so how ready are we, having said that, in terms of departure from traditional technologies to more innovations? What I'm trying to ask is that, was this really the need of the hour for a nation like India in the last 5 years, or perhaps the way the world is looking at us as smart city, rapidly growing smart city global power? So when we have young scientists like you, like all of you, in 5 main metro cities, manning your own laboratories, does it really empower you in decision-making process and make you more responsible in terms of contributing more towards defense preparedness?
Definitely. As far as cognitive technology is concerned, like we are putting in recent system, what are the classical radars and classical radios, we are putting cognitive or artificial intelligence or smart material technology on them. so that it can behave according to the environment. And as far as the decision process making is concerned, we are definitely empowered to take any type of decision, and even we can collaborate with other university, like our cognitive technology is adjacent to IIT Chennai, so we are taking help from their professors, and even in our Apex board, their IIT director is our chairman for this technology.
So when I say that this is actually also a big outreach program when it comes to attracting our young pool, our budding scientists. And was it also, let me quickly add to this, was it also a bit of a concern that there is some sort of brain drain? Our best minds are looking at West when it comes to R&D for that matter. And now you don't have to look out, because maybe now they are looking at us.
Actually, I'll start with recently our Prime Minister also has referred DRDO Y. So Y stands for Young Scientist Laboratories Generated. So the idea basically is actually to give a freedom of work. Whatever we would like to think of, imagine a product in the respective domains. So we should have a young mind should have a freedom of work. So we are actually working like any startup without having a financial burden. So
Okay,
that's
lovely.
how it's indirectly a Make in India supporting.
Yes,
So yeah.
yes.
So that is how this much freedom is actually given to us. So hopefully we'll be doing a lot of good work.
Yeah, regarding quantum technologies, actually India previously work was going on in academics only, and definitely we won't be working alone. We'll be taking academics with us, and definitely it's a startup kind of activities. But at the same time, we have to collaboratively work, and maybe in quantum technology, we'll be the first lab in India to demonstrate quantum computing or quantum communication related.
And also remember, this is coming at a time, viewers, when India is being looked up as one of the rapidly growing startup capitals of the world. Am I wrong when I say this? And now this is another feather in the cap.
There is no doubt about it.
Are we going to attract a lot of international attention when it comes to scientists? International community?
Yes,
I think
definitely.
that's
These are
what
like
Y Factor is all about.
yeah, yes.
Go ahead.
These are like state-of-the-art technologies, and the innovations are happening all around the world. Like, so whatever we are trying to bring out, everyone is going to watch us. Like how we are different from others, or how we are going ahead than others. So definitely there will be lot of attractions, and this is also going to help us in all these are like these technologies are going to be like kind of interconnected. So that way it is going to make a complementary research. That's what I would say. So you would like to add
Sunny.
anything?
I would say Young Scientist Lab provides a unique opportunity. Like a lot of scientists are driven by curiosity, right? We just want to explore the world. We don't want to make profits for companies, you know. We really want to understand how something works. We are really driven by, do we make a difference to the nation that we were born in? Do we make some ground level impact? And I said DYSL has got all these three combinations, right? Where you can make real world impact, you can contribute back to the nation which has given you everything. Plus you can also satiate as the curiosity that every scientist have, right? That say in our case how intelligence works, or maybe in other case how can we build India's first quantum computer per se. So I think we have a unique proposition here.
With a lot of challenge.
Certainly, and that's
lot of
that's why it keeps us excited, right? If it's not challenging, then that doesn't put us or the youth to test, I would say.
So when you have, when you're empowered as a young scientist with decision-making power, how much difference does it make?
Yeah, generally, earlier days, what we think that for each and everything we complain to others that we want to implement something, but we cannot implement, and all other things. But now onus is on ours.
You all are directors, by
Yeah,
the way, viewers.
now-
They're all directors. They're all under. Let me quickly add here. I'm very excited about this point. They're all directors of the respective laboratories that they are heading at the director level, and they're all under 30 to 35. And normally, when we talk about directors, you know, there's a sense that he has to be super senior. So you guys have been given that freedom, that power. I can see Ramakrishna grinning and smiling.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So now onus is on ours, so we
Yeah.
cannot complain anything. So if something wrong happens,
अब आप
then-
करिए आपको जो करना है।
so if something wrong happens, then also it comes to us. So it is a very challenging task, And
How upbeat is your team, the team that is working on this?
yeah, team is very enthusiastic, and I want to quote a शेर that मैं ऐसे शख्स को जिंदों में क्या शुमार करूं जो सोचता भी नहीं, ख्वाब देखता भी नहीं.
Overwhelming sentiment, lot of challenges, but then the team. I want you also to quickly talk about the team that's working under you. And finally also quick message for the young scientist community who are watching this very special show dedicated to Y Factor only on Doordarshan. You already have a 4-point statement ready.
This is how we, whenever
Sure,
we used
sure.
to interact with our chairman,
yes,
this
yes.
is how.
Focused
One is-
technology and focused messages.
Yeah, one is to aim high is a point number one, and second one is to actually keep learning, keep updating, and third one is work hard, and then final one is actually consistent perseverance. So if you have these 4 statements in your room, so obviously you are going to meet your whatever the dreams you.
Yes, our quantum team are very much interested in this topic. So we have already started few activities, and they are really working on that. And in fact, office hours, there is no office hours for us. So we are working almost 24 hours or whenever required. In fact, in our residence also we are staying together. So there also we sometimes discuss whatever any discussion comes or any doubt comes in people's minds. And we are really fortunate that we have got this opportunity, and we believe we will live up to the mark.
You will definitely live up, and let's have quick messages coming in from this side.
For the youth,
Yes, for young scientists who are all watching you, hearing you.
it has been told briefly already, but what I would like to add is don't go into the mind of like there is no opportunity. Opportunities we are only going to create, and for us it has been given, but there is lot of scopes. So you should not, means anyone for that matter, not only youth or bearing the age, no one should not lose the hope. It will come up, means it will somewhat
Is it going to be a paradigm shift when it comes to our innovations, particularly keeping young India, young scientists pool in mind? The ability to innovate, have we now with this really raised our benchmark in capacity building, intellectual capacity, ability to innovate? Sunny, quickly on this.
I would certainly say yes. I would say
Because this is big.
certainly I would say DRDO-Y or the DRDO Young Scientists Lab are a place where you could free your minds and you could propose anything as long as you are excited about. If you're excited about it, we are on board. So I would encourage youngsters, to come to us to collaborate.
Lovely. Yes.
Yep. I think we offered a unique proposition compared to anything else in the world.
Your parting note?
I want to say only one thing, that accept challenges. Don't always be in complaining mode.
Okay.
Accept challenges and innovate, and just try to cope up with others also. Try to
And join
work,
you.
try
And
to
join
work-
you guys.
Yeah, try to work in team rather than.
So if somebody has to get in touch with the respective DRDO Young Scientist Laboratories, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can contact us directly also. Website is also there, and they can come with us directly. They can contact us through DRDO headquarters also. So we are open to all even newcomers and even new industries also.
So,
We share our ideas and.
great. So DRDO YSL now on Y Factor. I think this makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on this special show. I'm going to quickly thank Ramakrishnan. He's scientist representing Hyderabad, which takes care of smart material. Sunny Manchanda, representing Bangalore, artificial intelligence. Manish Pratap Singh, Chennai, which takes care of cognitive sensor technologies on my left. Thank you very much, Shiv Prasad. Asymmetric technology in Kolkata, and quantum technology Mumbai, represented by Santu Sardar. And well, this is also in a way, viewers, recognition of young India or young scientists' ability to innovate. There's also recognition of their enthusiasm, their recognition of their pace, and how much they can make it sure that India as a scientific community continues to shine higher, continues to shine bright. Well, thank you so much for joining in this episode of Y Factor, only on Doordarshan. Stay tuned to us till the time, next time we get you more. Namaskar.